Stand by for the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next, Forbidden History Live. Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society. Nothing here is ever to be construed as hate, medical, or legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the RealPublicRadio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on the RealPublicRadio.net, Free America Radio Network, and YouTube.com as Forbidden History Live, and NinjaCat 111 with the Forbidden History Chronicles, and the original archives at The Forbidden History Series. 4 words, The Forbidden History Series. Do tell your friends, won't you? Let's have a revolution in thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from Studio Z at the Lighthouse in Central Ohio, and Free America Radio Network in the land of dreams, enchantments, and nightmares. It's Forbidden History Live, what they didn't want you to know, that we tell right here, and a special review of Farrar Fenton's Bible and the Book of Genesis, chapters 1 through 3, starting a new series for a new channel on this broadcast today, ladies and gentlemen. Still time to call your friends with your host, Desert Owl. Glad to have you here today, ladies and gentlemen. It's the theme on the thumbnail is the gift of time, and the question is when and where and how did time begin? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because you know where you are, don't you? That's right, you're right here, because you know why we're here, because here is where we bring you the most important information on the face of the entire earth, or under the earth. Here is where each week we bring you the very best in radio broadcast listening, while we reveal the greater secrets and the deeper mysteries of life. Yet the one question that will always remain will be this: can he handle the truth as it will be presented here this afternoon, tomorrow at the dawn, at noontime, wherever you are around the world, in the future? Stand by for the broadcast, because it's Forbidden History Live with yours truly, your host, Desert Owl. And when did time begin? That's a good question. That's what we're going to find out. So still time to call your friends, okay? Call your friends, ladies and gentlemen. And okay, so we're gonna have to learn. We're gonna have to roll that music a little longer sometimes, Shelley. We're still working out our rhythm here, and I can't hear the music. That's my problem. You know, I can't hear the music when I'm talking, and so they get all the money. We don't have any money, but we do get it done on a song, a wing, and a prayer. And you are our prayer, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so glad to have you. Any new listeners out there on the line tuning in, stand by for this broadcast, because you will hear things you cannot hear anywhere else. And it's not a brag, it's just a fact. Okay, we're just trying to make lemonade out of lemons. We woke up to the truth, and therefore we also woke up at the same time to all the lies. Okay, it goes together. You can't have one without the other. But then once you know all the lies, then you can be set free and embrace the greater truth. Okay, and that way, good to have you, Ninja, who is the Cosmic Essence, and she's just done an upload today on the Cosmic Essence channel. You want to check it out, starting with the alphabet, letter A, and so you'll see what we're doing there. Please subscribe, and also today, the special review of For Our Fenton Bible, the Book of Genesis, chapter 1 through 3, is a primer for the other channel, which is For Our Fenton Bible Daily Read. And I think I got that right. I have to. I can't be looking at it right now, and we haven't produced on it yet. We're just set it up, and so this will be posted there as well. And so this way people will be able to there. Well, look at that. For Our Fenton Bible Daily Read. Thank you so much, Shelley. Beautiful. Okay, and you see that's the original Aramaic script up there, ladies and gentlemen. That's our modern-day alphabet, the capital letters, falsely attributed strictly to the Phoenicians because it predates the Phoenicians. That's out of Sumer, okay? And it goes way back to what was breathed into Haddam. Of course, they flipped the letters over. You know, there's priesthood, the craft. You know, the craft is in there because they don't want people to know the the code. And so when the code was being used, then they did things that would not allow someone to get the picture, and put it in simple terms. Okay. But this is what we do here is we give you the picture, and we have unraveled the mysteries thanks to the great breath of the wind and fire, Yeshua, and we have a wonderful grassroots support here with Yo Shelley on this channel, and then Ninja Cat 111 here today as the Cosmic Essence. Ninja Cat 111 is the other channel, and so we are going to end up with 4 channels, each coming at it from a different direction. Ninja does an interview on Ninja Cat 111 on Mondays and Fridays, although it'll be Tuesday, not Monday, coming up the beginning of the week here, because I have a Monday scheduled to do something. So, and the Cosmic Essence, look at that talent. I can't get over it. This is beautiful. These are YouTube channels, so just go to the Cosmic Essence and look at that glowing ember in the sky. It's in the beginning there was nothing but the darkness, ladies and gentlemen, and then it said that the great breath, it said spirit moved upon the waters, but it wasn't upon the ocean. Okay, it was the cosmic waters, and it was the breath moved upon the cosmic waters. Can you imagine, the breath breathing through the cosmic ocean, the darkness of space, and then there's this gaseous orb of pure atoms, and then the breath breathes into the star, and then there is Zorain. Okay, Zorain. And the rain, you hear the word rain in there with rayon for creation, and rain that comes down, the raining light, the ruling of the one. It's all in that Eshavor, the words. It's this is part of the great mystery, and this is what we talk about here. Okay, so we're going to try to not try. There is no try. Yoda says there is no try. There's only do or don't do. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bring it your way, ladies and gentlemen, and try to define things like nobody else has done, because it has to be done. Things have to be defined according to proper perspective. Okay, and so and go to the For Our Fenton as well, and then subscribe there as well, because that'll be a daily read. That's going to be my my fix, you might say, because I need to read like we all do every day, and I figure if I'm going to do some reading on my own, why not read the Farrar Fenton scriptures all over again? I just did it from cover to cover last year and made major discoveries. I prove out that from the Greek, Farrar Fenton is the all-time scholar, because he read when he was in the universities up in England, out across the big water. He as a young man in college, he saw the problems. He saw the young people already wanting nothing to do with spirituality, and they wanted to go play sports, which according to Webster in 1828, his dictionary is diversion. And he saw the conflict of religion, and therefore he said, okay, you know what? I know there's a problem with scriptures. There's a problem with all these different varieties of religions, Baskin Robbins. So he said, I'm going to read nothing but the Greek and nothing but the Hebrew. And because I'm not going to read English versions, because I don't want to be influenced by mistake, by prejudice, by doctrine, by dogma, by political, by conspiracy. I don't want to be influenced by any of those things. I want to see and read it for myself. I'm going to find the oldest copies. I'm going to become an expert on Greek and Hebrew. And for 40 years, ladies and gentlemen, it's like my coming out of the wilderness. 40 years just being able to present all this to you. So we have something in common there. And that's, I guess, why we're given the example of 40 years in the wilderness, right? And so for 40 years, Fenton did nothing but read the Greek. He discovered the poetry in, what was it, the book of Isaiah? I have to go back and look now. But yeah, in other words, where some of the scripture was actually in prose, and that all the translators were writing it down as if it were, just a script. You know what I mean? And I think it's here, the prophet Isaiah, book 1. Yeah, I think it's in here, the prophet Isaiah, book 1. So it's in Isaiah, and it's not all prose. Wait, there's Jeremiah. Let me see here. Yeah, virtually all of Isaiah, but with some exceptions. Here's one exception. It's all written in prose, like poetry. Like poetry, because when you put it back, when you get the picture of what is happening, then all of a sudden it. He made major discoveries. Okay, he just did, and so after 40 years of reading nothing but the Hebrew and Greek, then in 1905 he publishes what is now the most important transliteration of Scripture in modern time out of the Greek. George Lamsa does the most important out of the Aramaic, but it was corrupted by the American publishers because they wouldn't publish it the way he translated it. So they did a hatchet job on it. But Lamsa is still superior in certain areas when Fenton is a little bit obscure and you can't quite figure out where the anomaly perhaps within a certain scripture. Then when you read Lamsa, then all of a sudden there's a better aspect of it. You see, so they're like two halves of a broken coin, and when you put them together, they reflect upon each other, and to get back to the most ancient original thought, okay, because that's what we're dealing with, thoughts. We transliterate not words, but thoughts and ideas, ladies and gentlemen, in the fluid nature of Eshavors, the words. But this is how you can get as far back as you could ever possibly go until we do the original thought transliteration. Okay, that we're working on that. It's slow go because literally we don't have any money. We don't have a big sponsor, and so we're doing it from a grassroots level. We wish we could be publishing. We wish we could hire a full-time techie to help us in our problems. And all of these things, we need support. And if you want, to help us, we have a prison ministry. We want to get the books to the people in prison. They're the first ones we're going to help out, and if they don't have the funny money, we're going to get it to them anyway. Okay, that's what this is all about: is saving lives and setting people free, whether they're on the inside or on the outside, because we're all doing time, and it doesn't matter whether you're on the inside or the outside, ladies and gentlemen, because we are all doing time, and for some of us it's hard time, and we're never going to get over the pain. We just have to learn how to deal with it, And that's what we do right here, 7 days a week on the broadcast. We bring our pain on here, and we feel better when we can share our experiences, what we've gone through, and if you have an experience, you have something you want to share, then do call in. Okay, it's 608. If I and well, what Shelley is putting up there, first of all, is an offer, to get any of our works, sample dictionary. We've got 2 dictionaries, one from 2011, the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary, then our latest dictionary tagged along with the original original gospel prototype that I was working on last year. Okay, so any size donation, it goes to the cause. Okay, to transliterate our work. And Shannon, good to have you. And that's My River Runs to Him, and that's Shannon. Used to have the channel Sundoggin, and she's out there near the District of Criminals in Virginia. And good to have you, Shannon. Hope you're doing okay out there. And so we're gonna be a part of history. We're making history, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of back issues that you can research on your own, and will definitely be presentations that you have not heard before. Okay, so yeah, I see people coming and going on our channel today. We're very grassroots, and the only way we're going to be able to get the information out is by if you tell other people. You can copy our link, put it in an email, and send it to others. If you've got Facebook, you can do it that way. So before I get into Fenton, I just want to do a few words today, because it's well, we're always doing words, and we're trying to get you to actually wrap your mind around what is the original thought. And the more we go over these écheuvres, which is the original for word, then you're going to a better. Thank you, Ninja. Thank you so much. And so on Ninja just put up a YouTube on the cosmic essence. Okay, if you go there, she put a YouTube up there on the letter A, and I did a review. So I checked it out today, and I was looking at that Roman coin, and I actually finally was able to transliterate what it was saying on the coin, and what it was saying was Emperor Caesar's star of gold. And I had missed that, but when I was staring at that coin on the presentation, then I finally got it, because it said Emperor Caesar, which is Quasar, and Quasar is a star. Quasar means the fiery key of a star, the light that shines. Okay, and so but then after that, it had the letters AVG, and the AVG are the original letters of our alphabet. It's not ABC. The B and the C are the supplements. They stole the original letters, mixed everything up, as I've implied over and over, and it's an AVG. And AV, when you see them next to each other, like in Abraham, it's Avramhaim. It means a star. Okay, and then the G is a primary symbol for gold. The yellow gold of the sun is what the G is implying, as it also stands for geode and geometry, and that which is round. But so literally AVG then means star of gold. So what it literally meant when it said Emperor Caesar AVG, the code of AVG is star of gold. So it really said Emperor Caesar star of gold. What is the star of gold? The coin. The coin is a golden star. Probably made out of copper, but nonetheless they're calling it a star of gold. And that's the original thought. You see, it's right there, and we don't have this original thought anymore. But it was right on the coin, right there. And I looked at that over and over, and I said, "What does it mean, AVG?" And I didn't get it till today, because I've been dealing with the AV combination, and the G was the key then, because what do we get after AVG or ABC? AVG D. After the star of gold. After you leave the light, you've got darkness, you got death, you got destruction. Okay? And so the D is what follows. So the first three symbols are the symbols of light. Okay, so rather interesting, to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. And you heard it here first, of course. And then we'll do one more, because I can tell already I got a long way to go, and I don't want to talk about a lot of other things when we got the special we're doing today. But I want to give a few examples of original thought. So another one is coffee. Okay, so in coffee, they even created shops, right, just for coffee. Like, okay, I guess it was a good marketing idea, right? Yeah, sure. Let's make coffee shops, and so we see the word in the French, um, especially because there we can see it's café. Oh, that's where the word cafe comes from, right? Cafe is coffee. You see, they made shops for the coffee, and then ultimately we call them cafe, and we don't even associate the word cafe with coffee. We just think you go to a cafe and you get all kinds of food and drink, but we never make the connection that it's an abbreviation of the word coffee. But so in the word coffee, if we go back to the original form, root form, it's cafe. Let me take a sip here. Soothe my throat a little bit. And I'm going to type it in here, okay, because I think that way it's better to see it. Remember the quote by Confucius, I hear and I forget. I see and I don't forget. Okay, I can't even find my quote now. It's all on his desk with all these 3x5 cards, but let me type it in here, okay? Here we go. Coffee becomes Khaphay. Okay? Cafe, there it is. And so what it literally means is the fiery keys of the woman. And there's variables. The woman, but it's the virgin. The Phay is the I-C Phay. Phay becomes the I, correctly, AY of creation. Okay, so Phay is the I, or the A, correctly it's the A of creation. The original word for I is A, spelled AY. And then what do we get in the reverse? We get Ya for the affirmative. The Ya is hiding as the affirmative, because when you see something, it's yeah, I get it, I see it, I remember, right? And what happened to that quote? I can't get over that. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's buried under some cards here. Okay, I hear, I forget, I see. That is, I get the picture, then I remember. And so graphically, we want to show these things to you so you really can see it. So cafe. But what's interesting though about this, it's really we could call it the black sun. And Phay, that's right. Shannon's middle name is Phay, and the Phay is a good name. Okay, it's a good. Only the difference is the F is a corruption. It's originally the PHAY, but more correctly, it's PHRAY, and we see that type of spelling in Babylon, where they spell it FRAYA. No, FRAIA, I think is how they spell it. Freya, or FRAYIA, something like that. And so the more correct spelling is found in Babylon, but then we see the abbreviation with Phay, or Phay, PHAY or FAY, or in Spanish FE, but the correct spelling would be PHRAY. And so there was, you see, in PHRAY, we then see the creation, light. It would mean light. You read it backwards, YGHT, creation. And there's our virgin. Okay, the light creation. That's the virgin creation, because it came from the pure light, from the atomic star up there, the Garden of Atoms, falsely called Eden. And okay, so there's a little bit of primer. So what I was going to say was the irony behind the word cafe and what coffee is, it's black. You see? So what they're attributing to the light is actually darkness. You see, there's the reversal again, as we've seen them doing over and over. We'll be pointing it out in the scriptures. It's called the black sun because they hate the light, and so everything they call the light is darkness, and everything they're in darkness and they call it light, like the Freemasons, who say, what do you want, my son? And then he said, Grand Poobah, please give me more light. I need more light. He said, okay, Bubba, here's another false token and a false image. Take some light and get out of here, okay? I don't want to talk to you anymore. And let me go have my party and make all the money off of everybody else I can while I'm on my short-lived vacation on planet Earth, going to the grave, and and then coming back one more time as some type of demonic, depraved, whatever. It's amazing how these people think they can get over, and they don't. The knowledge of truth that's right, Ninja, endless layers. The knowledge of truth is so in our face. The ability to know that somebody made everything up there, with all the pictures of the Big Dipper, Little Dipper, Orion, all the stars, the pyramid, the Alpha, the A that the hunter is pointing to. There is no excuse for not connecting with the fact that there is one who made all things, and the one who made all things is attempting to communicate with us. But these wicked, they sell themselves out to a blood oath, and then they start having the party, and the party's pretty good. And once you get hooked on the party and the drugs and the sex and the blood drinking and the murder and the pseudo sovereignty of being able to get away with murder and do whatever you do to people that is heinous and as wicked as all get out, then the real drug begins, because the real drug is power. That's the real drug, you see. And so they all give each one of them a little sense of power, but the truth is they're only been given license. They like to give us a license. They've been given license because they've been given free will. But ultimately, what's coming down after the free will is death. The second death, because the first death is spiritual. The second death is physical. And then they'll stand up naked before the great one and be speechless and trembling in their nakedness and without their body, because they'll be spirit again, and they'll be probably floating in the vastness of space. Hell and damnation, of course. Torture forever is not the correct narrative that we got. That's a Babylonian Vatican lie. But nonetheless, they do not go back home, and they're bound in this cosmic universe forever. And then I guess they come back on another planet, and it happens again. It doesn't really matter to make much out of that. But clearly, the hell is the grave. Sheol is the grave. Hades is the grave. Pluto is the grave. So the words, we have to define them by what they really mean. And so the body's a grave, So the good news is we can be set free, ladies and gentlemen. We can connect with the one who made all things, and the one who made all things is the one who reveals all things. So when we get back from our break, we're going to take a musical break. We're going to get into the royal scriptures. The R stands for royal, and that's a PH. It's hiding the PH right in it, and the H is symbolic of the bridge, and the P is symbolic of the axe, the berserker axe, which is the symbol of the sun, the fire that comes down and cuts. The power stroke. That's the axe, and that's the light that shines. You see. So, and it's shining, it's cutting down here on earth, and everybody receives the light every day, but they fail to acknowledge that the great solar orb that is at the center of our solar system is the great logo, the great symbol of the one who made all things, Yahweh, who brings forth the endless volumes, and never stops, never rests, the light continues to shine, and he maintains this universe so that we can breathe and we can see, and hope that we get it right, and then and take advantage of that gift of time that we have, which is so short, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for one heartbeat of our Maker. So let's put on our thinking caps, and let's engage with the books and the work of Farrar Fenton, an absolute genius and scholar, and the most unappreciated, untalked about, unheard of. But you're hearing it here. So don't go away. I'm Desert Owl. Glad you tuned in. Still time to call your friends. We'll be right back. And Fix It Fox, good to have you.
new world coming into view. A world in which there is a very real prospect of a new world order.
The New World Order does not mean surrendering our national sovereignty or forfeiting our interests.
And if you believe that guy, then you know there's a bridge for sale in Brooklyn, and but he sold us out actually. And yeah, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here on the broadcast, the Forbidden History Live. I want to welcome any new listeners that are out there. I know we have people always bopping in and checking us out, but you gotta stay a while. You can't get a soundbite and think you can really get the picture of what we're about, because it's a pretty deep wick that we have here, and we go further down the rabbit hole from all avenues. Okay, not just one, but all of them. And I ended up a long time ago, 30, let's say 30 years ago, approximate, ended up with about 60 different versions of the scriptures on my shelf, 60 different translations of our scriptures. Okay, that's quite a few variable translations. And hey, Jet, good to have you. And out in California, Southern California, and they're rocking and rolling and baking at the same time, baking and shaking. But in the process of getting translations, I then I have to get a pillow. Hang on a minute, just. Got to help out my back a little bit. Sorry about that. We're at realpublicradio.net, and it's bad for broadcasting, but that's okay. We get the job done. That's all that matters, right? Okay. So so in the process of reviewing 60 different translations of the scriptures, then I begin to find out that there are problems. There are problems. You have to, in other words, at one point, you know, you're not going to just like pick up the King James Version and say, well, now I've got my truth, and now I know, the Bible wouldn't lie to me, and of course it's authorized, so therefore, actually, what's interesting, in the front of the King James Version, they actually call King James the sovereign. They call King James the sovereign. Whoa! They made him superior to Yahweh, and he didn't retract it, and he let him publish it. And so there's so many ways of looking at this. It's amazing. But when you start comparing, in other words, I'm not smart enough to figure this stuff out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I have experts. I have experts that I rely upon. Okay, I have about 25 experts easily that I are in my counsel. Okay, and then I have other ones that I also will go to in my effort to unravel the great mystery. Yeshua is, of course, my seed planter. He's my tree of knowledge. I eat the fruit, that comes from him. But he puts me in the right book at the right place at the right time. We're looking at the right documentary to get that missing element that somebody else discovered. Okay, not one of us is smart enough to figure all this stuff out. It's about the digging and the plowing, and the dedication to wanting to unravel this mystery. So when I'm presenting things on here, I'm the beneficiary of the work of many other scholars, and so I'm in a unique position because I'm after the fact of all of these other scholars. I'm after all of these, for the last several hundred years, if not, we could add 2,000, if not, we could add longer. I benefit from all of their work. And so what I'm able to do is I'm able to sift through it and to compare it and to study it but it's even beyond that, because you have to know about the conspiracy to deny us the truth, the priesthood that's been running the world, the fallen Vekoresh, the Watchers that we just did a series on. If you check it out, it's about 9 programs ago when we started. and then we rolled right into who was Adam, the big lie, because you see, we've been lied to. And I found the lies first in the Strong's Concordance, then I found it in the in the Jacinius lexicon. Interesting, they call it Phoenician in there. They don't call it Hebrew. They call it Phoenician. Hebrew is Phoenician? Wait a minute, what? It's because they were merchants. They took over Yerushalayim Shalom after they came back from Babylon. It was a pseudo-Israel. Israel has not existed officially since 730 BC. And then the small state of Yerushalayim Shalom / Judah ceased to exist approximately 500 BC. And so whatever came back simply was a remnant and a mix, a homogenization, and what was worse than anything else, the Babylonian Talmud that came back with them, and the merchant class, and the profiteers, and then all the original priesthood was annihilated for the most part, and then they got the false traditions that came in, the seducers, who are the Sadducees, and the Pharaoh's shame, the pharaohs. The Pharaoh's shame. Isn't that an interesting word? I mean, they're calling themselves pharaohs in Yerushalayim. You get the picture? Just like the Masoretic text. Metzorite? Well, Metzorite is the original word for Egypt. Metzar, Egypt. So therefore, our Old Covenant, which is Masoretic text, is Egyptian text. You see? The Old Covenant in your King James is the Egyptian text. And the King James Scriptures is authorized by a Freemason, an occultist, who wrote the Book of Beasts before he even gave us the King James Version, which is 90% Tyndale, and all they did was switch it out with a bunch of mind control codes and clues as to the true nature of who's really running the show, like Psalm 46. Well, you've got to go listen to the back issues. I'm not going to elaborate. Or Psalm 119, with the Hebrew letters in there. That wasn't in the scriptures. That's showing who's running it. The Jews. Oh, wait a minute. I think the Jews follow the Babylonian Talmud and they hate Christians. Something like that, right? They've been running the world. They've been defrauding us at their banks, on television with the news, right? They lied to us. They're supporting the beast state. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I guess we've got real problems we got to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. But the only thing we can do is be set free from them. If we can be set free from them, then maybe we can be set free from ourselves, because we've got to focus on ourselves. That's enough to do, isn't it? Just to focus on who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are. Forget the rest of the world. In fact, one of the scriptures says that it's going to be a bad paraphrase, but something like that: a workman concerns himself not with the affairs of the world. Okay, he doesn't have time to get caught up in all the illusions of the world. What I do, of course, is I'm, as a researcher and slash journalist, is I like to unravel the mystery and to figure out the big lie. We're in a different time today. Back then they didn't have internet, they didn't have telephones, they didn't have what we have today. So it's a different ability to analyze the entire world, and as the old sage once said, that you can know the entire universe and never leave your couch. And for me, I know that's true. I've been able to sit behind the computer in my office chair and be able to unravel the mystery of our history and of life and of our modern time and the grand conspiracy to deny us life, truth, freedom, all good things, ladies and gentlemen. So Yeshua is the true sovereign. He's the true ruler. And that's the good news, because he is here. He's not coming. He is here, ladies and gentlemen. He has been here all along, even prior to when we see him as Yeshua. He's always been here, because he's the one who made all things. He is the first made by Yahweh. You see, it's all a great mystery, and but nobody knows how to interpret it, because they bought into the dogma. I love that dogma, and that dogma is really tasty. Can I have some more dogma, please? Thank you very much. Okay. And so they're just sucking up that dogma. Whatever somebody tells them, that's what they follow. please tell me, somebody tell me something. I want to know some more. But they can never figure anything out for themselves. They can't, because they've not made the connection. And we have to make the connection, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here like a primer. When you start an engine, they had to prime the engine, and then all of a sudden, oh, we almost got it that time. Let's try it again. Oh no, it didn't start. Let's try it again. Prime it some more. Come on. And then finally, you see? Then finally, once the engine is primed, it takes off on its own. So I'm just here as the primer, because the problem is you never knew how to read. You never learned how to read, because in fact, they even took your original thought, your original diction from you. So how can you read when they've given you Pig Latin out from the Vatican itself? Pig Latin outside the Vatican at a college place called College of Abbreviators, run by Jesuit Curiae, where when they realized that they couldn't keep the scriptures out from the public hands anymore, the only thing that they could do is take over the translations and take over spelling the words, put us under the spell by spelling the words. That's why they call Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John the Go Spell. Go Spell, because you'll never figure it out, because we've done quite a number on you, boys and girls. And Jet, you say books will all be destroyed and hidden. Please keep your books, as when the power goes out, that's all we'll have. That's right, Jet. They want to hide the truth, certainly. Yeah. And Corey, good to have you on the broadcast. And that's right, Yeshua is our elder brother. He's our elder brother. In fact, that's why in Revelations, at the end of Revelations, when Yalganon, you see, because these characters that we see in our scriptures are never clearly defined because they've been so corrupted. But you remember at the end of Revelations, when Yalganon, it said that he was standing in front of the angel, which is a false word for the Anglo-Saxons, but it was really Malach. He was standing in front of the Malach, and he bowed down to worship him. What did the Malach say to him? That was his buddy. You see, that was Yeshua that was standing in front of Yalganon, who has given him this revelation. And so Yalganon then bows down to worship him. And what does he say? Don't worship me, worship Yahweh. Worship Yahweh. So even our elder brother was saying to him, don't worship me, worship the Spirit. Worship the Yahweh, the mother and father who are one, the great Spirit. You see? So he was passing it on to the one who made all things, the great Father of light. Yeshua is our elder brother. He is merely the active agent within this universe doing the work of Yahweh, because Yahweh is so great that if he came into this universe, it would all be burned up in a moment, because as Ezra said, Esdras, they changed the name, Ezra to Esdras, in 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, that if you brought all the stars of the universe together, okay, that Yahweh would still be 10,000 times greater in power. 10,000 universes greater. Wow. I guess that's why he knows how many hairs on our head are counted, and knows everything. And he works on the atomic level all the way up to the cosmic giant stars. It's such the volumes of creation that came out from the sound waves of let there be Zorain. So ladies and gentlemen, it is so fantastic, but nobody's talking about the metaphysics. Nobody talks about the cosmology or the cosmogony. They can't interpret the whoever told you the logo was the sun, right? It's just we've been duped and pooped with that dogma, and so my classic statement, about 15 years ago, finally I got it, and I would say to people, knowing where I was at, okay, the things that you follow in your tradition, were they things that were handed to you by dogma, or are these things that have been revealed to you? Because for me, it's about revelation, because what first comes to us is the lie. And so the lie is the front, you see, of the occultic. And once we get past the lie, then we find the truth, and we find out Yeshua takes off the mask, and he goes from being Jesus to Yeshua. You see, he's not Jesus. He's not ye pig snout, which is what Jesus means in Indo-Germanic. Sus is pig snout. J-E is Y-E, which means you pig snout, and then Christ is Krishna. Christ is strict when you spell the anagram backwards, and that's what the Catholic priests and nuns were, strict. Okay? Are we having fun yet? Well, it's quite a deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get your scriptures out. I don't care what version you have. Now, none of them are perfect because that's the way they designed it. They destroyed all the originals. We have no originals. So what we have to do is we have to become deep thinkers, and we have to see the smallest words, because the smallest words are actually the most powerful words. And the most powerful symbol of all the symbols is the period, because the period stops everything. The period is the yud. The yud is a dot. The yutha, yud is yutha, that's Judah, and it's represented as a dot, but it represents the sun. So that which is smallest as an atom is as that which is the biggest, the sun, because the sun is nothing other than a garden of atoms, and so the little dot represents the big one. The big one represents the little one, and that's both ends of the spectrum, the polarity, and the great symbol. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to get the picture. So let's try reading this, okay? And I'm going to open up my my occultic King James version. Obviously, was on the sacred altar of alterations, and let me get a clip over here to hold it open, because we'll have to go back, because Fenton, as good as he was, he didn't get it all correct, and then that's why you need to have Lamsa and compare Lamsa, because it's and that's a beautiful picture, by the way. I love that starburst that Shelley created, and because it's about the light. It's about going back to the light, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're going to do here. We have to start at the beginning. Okay, we have to start at the beginning, and let me open up Lamsa now. So I got the occultic King James. I got the hatchet job that they did to George Lamsa, this absolute genius in his own right. They put the hatchet to his translation. Let me get a book holder over here. I gotta set these up. I should have been prepared. Well, I am prepared. I'm always prepared, but I could be more prepared at times. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I got it. Let me get this card out of here. What am I going to do with that? All right, I'll just put that on the side for now. Okay, well, let's be a part of history, ladies and gentlemen, making history. And Jet says the priests and the nuns weren't just strict; they were corrupt. Still are corrupt. Yes, they're worse than that. They're drinking blood and having a party on you and I, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And okay, so while we do the read, Shelley, let's go back to that sunburst. I love that sunburst, and that way we can just meditate and focus on what we got here, because that image is so important. They got the picture on Fenton, that they know where they can get it. Artisanpublishers.com. Tell them Desert Owl sent you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I've been dealing with those folks for about 20 plus years, and they do an important work and need support, because Amazon is sucking the lifeblood out of book publishing companies. So patronize them with their wonderful collection of writings. Check out their website, won't you? All right, so we're in the book of the first book of Moeshan, which is Moses, and called Genesis, but Genesis is a corruption. It's actually Ganesha. And Ganesha means the garden of the royal eye. Well, what is the garden of the royal? The royal eye is the sun, and the garden that's the first garden. That's the garden of light, the garden of atoms, falsely called Eden, that you're looking at in the picture. Then out of the side came the woman, and that's Mother Earth. Mother Earth came out of the side of the light that belonged to the great logo that belongs to the primordial Father. Okay, it's a symbol. It's a logo, the sun. And out comes the mother, and that's Earth. Okay, so we've got an incorrect narrative right out the gate, but I'm going to start with Fenton, and then I'm going to roll over into what everybody's most familiar with, which is the King James version. Okay, and I got lamps in front of me as well if I need them. So starting in verse, and this is translated direct from the Hebrew, which is occultic. Well, because the original was not Hebrew, the original was Aramaic. Okay, the original. They spoke a Hebrew dialect, but the symbols, we're talking symbols. We're not the pathetic looking Hebrew square root script that you see. It was the A, B, C, D that we see in fact, Shelley, if you can show real quick again that relief, that stone relief from the other channel that was on the masthead for the Fenton for our Fenton website or YouTube channel, and it has the Aramaic scripts chiseled in stone on there. Just show that real quick so we can show what the original Aramaic is one more time. I know she's looking real hard right now, and she's probably got too many pictures. There you go. Yeah, thank you. There's the original Aramaic, and those who spoke Hebrew, the Hebrew culture, prior to them coming back from Babylon, use this script, ladies and gentlemen. This is the script, the Hebrew script that you see today, which is really Yiddish, Khazarian Yiddish, came out of Babylon. Okay, there's a story behind that. It's deeper than that, but that on the surface, because then what's beautiful about their Hebrew today is that it identifies their pathetic culture that is about world domination and murder and mayhem and slavery. Okay, and you don't even qualify as a living sentient being, but you are cattle in their eyes. Okay, so just want to clarify what the Babylonian Talmud talks about, and that's why they were willing to kill 3,000 Israeli Mossad with the Bush cartel. Were willing to kill 3,000 people in a blood ritual sacrifice with the Twin Towers representing Jachin and Boaz, the Freemasonic columns that came down. And when they came down in 2001, interesting time, because one begins a new age, a new millennium, a new century. And when the columns come down, it means a new age is coming up, a new phony age of enlightenment by Freemasonry, you see, and the occultic Vatican. So run by the ancient Aryan Brahmin priesthood, the Aryan Vekaresh, from the beginning of time. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's a deep story. So yeah, let's go back to the light now, if we could, Shelley, and thank you for that. She does great work here. And of course, Phoenician is a misnomer because it is the original Aramaic, which is Archai Malik, more correctly, the archive. You can hear the word archive there. And Malik means a royal messenger. We deal with the word Malik in all of our scriptures. And therefore it is more correctly the Indo-Germanic Aryan mother tongue. Okay, it's the greatest shell game and deception that they played to deny us access to the original thought, ladies and gentlemen. That's the grand conspiracy. They want you stuck in the Hebrew and the Greek so that you'll never be able to figure it out because it's controlled by the priesthood. And so let's try this, okay? No try. Yoda says do or don't do. Yoda is Yuta, by the way. Yoda is Yuta. There's your Yud, okay? And so even Yoda, they got him in the story too, in Star Wars, okay? There's your star, okay? So verse 1, by periods, and period is peri-yud. So period means great age. And so by periods, it says God, but God is Elohim. Now let me just qualify now. There's two versions sliced together that we're going to be reading. The first chapter is the text that came from the northern kingdom. So they say God, but God was a corruption for Elohim. Whereas starting in chapter 2, verse 4, then it's called the Yahwistic text, which came from the southern kingdom of Utah. Okay, remember the kingdom was divided. That shows again the duality. That there wasn't an accident. Yeshua knew all this was going to happen. This was part of the drama that was to allow us to get the picture about the duality and about the firstborn versus the secondborn. Okay, there's a cosmic story here that we don't ever get the picture of and nobody ever talks about that, but we do. Okay, so by periods, period means great age. Peri means fat. So by periods, by great ages, that's what it, not 6 24-hour periods. How can you even have a 24-hour period if there's no sun and earth to go around yet, you know? You see, and as Philo clearly stated it, that the 6 days or 6 periods are symbolic of something greater and these are great ages. And so science basically gets it right when they say the universe is 6 billion years old. Those are your 6 days right there. 6 great ages, 6 periods. Peri means fat. Yud is a dot, and that represents a star, and a star represents ages. So 6 great ages. So by periods, by great ages, yeah, we can see it all in the earth, how old the earth really is. Not 10,000 years old, but millions of years old, even several, like 4 billion years old is the earth. Go look at the Grand Canyon. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Because it was first a fiery ball of magma that came out of the sun. At first it was like a miniature star, and then it cooled in the coolness of space while it was continually being warmed by the sun as it went around the sun. So, okay? And let's continue here. So by periods, the great Elohim created that which produced the solar system. Okay, he's actually got the word solar system here. And it is that which produced the earth. Okay, so notice how different that is, like from the King James. And Fenton, if you get for our Fenton scriptures, you'll know that he's actually destroying all of the other narratives. He's destroying it, okay? Because, in other words, even though they corrupted the Greek, still when he goes back into the Greek, he finds much that they purposely ignored, and so they didn't literally translate the Greek the way it really is, even though it's not the original, even though it came out of the Aramaic. So Fenton is already trumping them, okay? He's trumping them with the most powerful translation of the Greek, proving he's the greatest Greek scholar probably that ever lived, because he was doing it by divine appointment. Okay, divine appointment. Of all the things he wanted to do was to give us the most important transliteration of the scriptures he could ever do. And of course, he's doing it out of the Hebrew here in the Old Covenant. He's doing it out of the Greek in the New Testament, which is the everlasting covenant. But no doubt he compared the Septuagint in the Greek. No doubt. Okay, so then that which produced the earth. But in verse 2, but the earth was unorganized. Well, you see, here's where now he didn't get it, because it's more profound. Now I'll finish that, then I'll go and do the correction by reading the King James. Okay, but he says the earth was unorganized and empty, and darkness covered its convulsed surface, while the breath of the great Elohim rocked the surface of the waters. Well, that's where, he couldn't see it. He couldn't even see it, because I'm going to now go to the King James, and I'll give you the transliteration, okay? And it goes like this. In the beginning, and remember, that which has a beginning has an end, okay? In the beginning, Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, and I'm going to transliterate God, because God is the Pope. Yahweh, who is the great Elohim. Got a fly going through here. Glad there's still some flies around, though. And the earth, and now it says the earth was without form. Well, that's incorrect. You see, one word changes the narrative. It is, the earth was not yet formed. And then it says, and void, but not and void, but within the void. The earth was not yet formed within the void. Why? Because something else had to be established first. And that's coming up. So these first 2 verses are just a preamble. And then it officially starts with verse 3. So let me continue. So the earth, backing up on verse 2, and the earth was not yet formed within the void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. What deep? The cosmic ocean, not the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific Ocean, as I always thought growing up when I was reading it, because of the way it was written literally, but the cosmic deep, you see, the bottomless pit, and the spirit, which is the breath of Yahweh, moved upon the face of the cosmic waters. You see, there was nothing yet illuminated. There was no light yet. Okay? So it was just being made clear that the earth, in the beginning, the earth was not yet formed within the void. And the great breath of the wind and fire, the Spirit, moved upon the face of the cosmic water. And then what happened? Verse 3, and Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, breathed, let there be light. Let there be light. And there was light. And that's Zorain. Zorain. Actually, it would be correctly, and he said, and let there be Zorain. Let there be Zorain. Let me yeah, you know, I keep a lot of this in my head and I have to remember. Azor, okay, yeah, star, it really is. And Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, breathe, let there be, yeah, well, it's so it says light here, so let there be light is Zorain, and there was Zorain, okay? So that's the original word Zor. There you hear the word Zor for Zorro. They're telling you in their mythologies, you know, that Zorro, you know, he makes the Z, the power letter, right? Zoroin, Zorro. Even Zera and Zorro means seed, okay? Zera is a corruption. Zorro, you can see the zero. It means seed, starting at the beginning with the big O, the symbol of the sun, the one, okay? So let's go back to Fenton now. So I just wanted to, you know, show you that comparing the different translations is relative to also bringing forth, ladies and gentlemen, the true narrative, okay? And because we have to compare them, because all of these people are experts. In fact, one of the greatest experts ever was Tyndale, William Tyndale, which is basically the King James version, but then they did their occultic ritual in it and then took credit for it, you know. So there's a lot of occultism in the King James, okay? So moving forward here, so I'll just read Fenton now in verse 3. And so then Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, then breathed, let there be light, and that's the Zorain, and the light came. And the great Elohim gazed up upon that beautiful light, and the great Elohim divided the light from the darkness, separated. In other words, makes the distinction between the fullness of light and the emptiness of darkness, the void of the darkness. Okay, and so verse 5, and to the light, the great Elohim gave the title day, Diel. Diel is the correct word, and Diel is that which goes round. So there's something going around in the Diel. That's the light, and the earth is spinning. That's why it's called a lantern. When they light the lantern at night, because the land is turning, and they knew that. Why do you think they called it a lantern? Okay, and to the darkness he gave the name night, and so night, as we see with the first letter N, it's a sliding board, and as you heard me say over and over, letter N means that which goes down. So what went down is the light, and so you got the night. The L, the symbol of light, changes from the word, and the N supplements it, and you get night. That which was sank, that which went down is the night. Okay? And so this was the close of and the dawn of the first age. Literally, Fenton says the first age, not the first day. But he got it right, because see, I've known this for almost 40 years. I saw it right out the gate. And I was saying it's a period. It's these are great ages. And so literally he got it. He's the only one who gets it right, ladies and gentlemen. The first age. And it was a great age. And it was 1 billion years. You know, it took 1 billion years in the first process of the Spirit moving upon the cosmic waters when there was darkness, and then breathing into a star and having it ignite. First he had to form the star. And then the star had to be ignited. And then out of the star comes the planets and the moons, and they find their orbit around the mother star, you know. And there's even a YouTube that shows the sun giving birth to a tiny orb with a 100,000-mile umbilical cord attached to it. Do a search. The sun gives birth to a star, and you're a planet. You should find it. Okay. And if you can find it, you know, and it was Lynn who found it. She's not on today. When I mentioned it on the program, she found it immediately by doing the search. So we can find it. We can post it down below once we find it. Okay. And I'm going to take a sip and breathe deep real quick. Oh yeah. Okay. Let me get my sip here. There is no perfect translation, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, and we have we have to deal with a conspiracy against mankind. What did it say in Revelations? That they have deceived the entire world. Wow, that's quite a deception. They deceived the entire world. So the fact that we're hearing the evidence of that by the items being pointed out that are not true, not correct, not complete, and misleading, we can then see and read things for ourselves, because nature is speaking. You know, the best book is nature, and the logic that goes with it. What's in that word logic? Logic is logos. Logos is logic. Logic is let there be light. We have to have the light bulb go on in our heads. Okay. So continuing in verse 6, I can tell right now I'm only going to do the first chapter. Okay. I'm gonna do, since we need to load up 3 videos on the other channel, on the channel for our Fenton Bible daily read. We're going to do three of these presentations here on Forbidden History Live, and then we're going to load them up over there. And at that point, we'll be able to be found on a search, and then I'll start doing my live broadcast over there. I just decided that, you know, because I can tell I get long-winded, and so therefore I don't think I can do three chapters. Okay, but we're gonna do it. And so the great Elohim breathed in verse 6, let there be an expanse between the waters. And he said, let there be a division between the waters, and waters Viator, there's the serpent that goes round, the Viator above and the Viator below. And it doesn't say it here literally. You see, it says, let there be a division between the waters and the waters. You see how ambiguous that is, but what it is, it's the cosmic sea. Let there be a separation between the cosmic sea out there and the lower sea here on earth, because the earth is formed, and now at this point, because the sun was already bringing forth the light and creation, because light is creation. And so what is the expanse? It is the air. It is the sky. And okay, so let's continue here. And the great Elohim made the expanse, and it separated. It says divided, but better word, it separated the waters which were below the expanse from the waters, the cosmic sea which is above, and the expanse and the separation that which was above and the expanse below. And so let me take a note here. I just want to do that. Write down that word separation for divided, separated. Okay, we're transliterating as we go right here. I've got to do the transliteration, ladies and gentlemen. I can't. We keep getting sabotaged by the local Freemasons here in town, and every year, you know, I've had stuff happen, and yeah, they hate the light. They claim to be of the light, but they hate the light because they're not going. Okay, and so and it was done, and this is verse 8, and the great Elohim named the expanse the sky. It says heavens, but that's a code word. Okay, named the expanse the cosmic sea. That was close, and that was close. This was close in the dawn of the second age. Okay, and then 9, the great Elohim then commanded, let the waters below the sky be collected into one place. And so they were collected into one place, and then the dry land appeared, and it was done. And the great Elohim named the dry land earth, and he accumulated the waters, and he named them seas. And I have a footnote here on what was at the top. Where was that footnote from? Well, let me read it. And so literally by headships is the footnote, and oh, there it is, right in the beginning where it said by periods. right out the gate, where it says in the beginning in our received scriptures, Fenton has by periods, great periods, what he meant. So here he says literally by headships, and I have there by appointments, because it happened to happen one step at a time. And so by appointed, what it means is by appointed periods. It is curious that all translators from the Septuagint rendered the word, and he gives the Hebrew, bereshith, into the singularity, although it is plural in the Hebrew. Okay, so there is a problem, right? How did it go from plural to singular? Okay, there's a problem right there. And we got lots of problems with what they've done to our scriptures, ladies and gentlemen. And so, and he named the dry land earth. I'm backing up in 9. And the great Elohim then commanded, let the waters below the sky be collected into one place, and let the dry land appear. And that was done. And then 10, and the great Elohim named the dry land earth, and the accumulated waters he named oceans or seas. And the great Elohim admired the beauty. That's admired is probably a weak word, very weak. There was more. He was pleased, might be the better word. He was pleased with the beauty. And then the great Elohim said, let the earth produce seed-bearing vegetation. I'm going to just see what it says in King James. Okay, yeah. So like in verse 10, he didn't admire the beauty. He says he saw that it was good. Well, when I looked up good in the concordance, well, what did it say? But Yaltzar. And so literally, you see, neither one of them get it right. And this is why we're doing it live, and I'm giving the narrative, because I'm showing you the problem, the milk toast that they gave to us, okay? And it's stale bread, because Yaltzar, the word good is Yaltzar in the Hebrew, and Yaltzar means literally the star that goes around. But if we're going to use the word good, well then let's use the right word of what Yahweh he makes. He makes everything perfect. It's not good. It was perfect. And look at nature. Isn't nature perfect in what it can do? Well, look at your body, how it can survive all the abuse that we put on it and live 100 years. Used to be, when they had the secret knowledge, they lived to be 1,000 years. But literally it's Yaltzar, and it means the product of a star. And the product of this star is perfect, and it's endless in volume. It's like you look at all the resources we can acquire, you see? So it is Yaltzar. It is perfect. Not good. And this is how the game has been played. Why don't you just give us the word Yaltzar, and then tell us it's a product of a star and it is perfect? But they're not going to do that. The priesthood, okay, running our scriptures, enslaving us to their narrative. So continuing verse 11, the great Elohim then breathed, let the earth produce seed-bearing vegetation as well as fruits, trees, according to their several species, capable of reproduction upon the earth. And that was done. And the earth produced the seed-bearing herbage according to every species, as well as the different species of reproductive fruit trees. And the great Elohim saw that they were Yaltzar, they were perfect, the product of a star. Everything is a product of a star because we came out of the light. And we have to go back to the light, ladies and gentlemen. This is the lower garden. That's the upper garden, the Eden, which is correctly the atom, the sun, the great logo, the throne that the great spirit breathes from. That's his power generator. Even though he's everywhere, symbolically he rules from the throne of the sun. And the great Elohim saw that they were perfect, Yaltzar, and this was the close and the dawn of the third great age, 3 billion years at this point. You see just think about what had to happen. And it also shows the greatness of Yahweh. If he always was and always will be, then what's his hurry? Obviously, he's going to do this thing through a long process. It takes a long time, as we see how nature has evolved. The only one that didn't evolve was man. He was spontaneously generated by Yahweh, who is the great Elohim. Okay, we came after the fact, although Adam was first made prior to anything else being made on earth, taken up into the throne of the Son, falsely called Eden, and then he names all things. We're going to read that. We're coming up to that in the next broadcast, or one of the next two. Okay, we're leading up to it. So the great Elohim further said, let me see, I'm going to take a break at the halfway point. So how many verses we got? 31. Okay, so I'm coming up to a break here. Shelley, just pick out a song that you think is appropriate for today, and we'll be doing that in just a little bit here. And so the great Elohim further breathed, let reflectors appear. That's the stars. They're called reflectors here. Appear in the expanse of the sky for division between the day, the Dayel, and the night. And let them serve to mark seasons, periods, and years. And let them also illuminate the expanse of the sky so as to reflect their light upon the earth. And that was done. And the great Elohim had made, verse 16, had made two large luminaries, the larger one to control the day, that's the sun, and the smaller one to control the night, and that's the moon, obviously, accompanied by the stars. And the great Elohim had fixed them in the cosmic expanse so as to illuminate the earth, to control the Dayel, and to control the night, and to mark the division between the light and the darkness. And the great Elohim saw that they were beautiful. Again, a weak word. It was probably perfect. The occult don't want to use the word perfect, all right? Only they are perfect in their occultism, right? And this was the close and the dawn of the fourth great age. And with that, we're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. We're making history being a part of history. You're hearing a transliteration of the scriptures unlike ever before in our modern time. We go past the greatest transliteration ever with Fenton, and we take it to the next level, because even Fenton may have, in his approach, known about the conspiracy, but we don't know what was in his mind or what he knew. But yet I can see that I can take advantage of all of my experts and compare them all, and by doing that, I literally know that we can do better with these translations / transliterations, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're attempting to do on the Original Thought Transliteration Project. Is it not possible that Yeshua could restore that which was broken, that which was corrupted, that which was watered down, fragmented, abbreviated, dissolved, and then sliced and diced and put back together in a part truth, part lie narrative? Because the truth is not a part of any lie. Does not Yeshua have the ability to restore that which is broken? And of course he does, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what he's doing right here on Forbidden History Live in the Original Thought Transliteration Project, because it's also found in the lost writing that came out of Tibet, the Gospel of the 12. I'll dig that up for you, in fact, on the break, and I'll read that to you. Okay, so we're going to take let's take a long break, okay, if we can, Shelley, if we can do a good one, and we're gonna be back, and we'll finish chapter 1. Okay, the Kaftor. The Kaftor is the cup that is with power. Kaftor means cup. Kaf is cup. When you cover your mouth with your cough, you're not. You think when you were coughing that it was what was coming out of your mouth, but coughing is cupping your mouth. Coughing means covering your mouth. That's what coughing is, covering. But it's a cup. You're cupping your mouth. And the Kaftor, the chapter, Kaf means then the power within the cup. And we're bringing you the power within the Kaftor right here on Forbidden History Live, because somebody's got to do it. Hope you're telling your friends about the broadcast. And I know it's hard for people to hear this for the first time and wrap their head around it. But that's okay, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do it anyway because we have to. That's why we're here. I'm Desert Owl. Glad you tuned in. We'll be right back.
Close my eyes, only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams last night and you closed the door behind you? Were you walking in your sleep, or were you just too tired to notice all the watchful eyes upon you? There's the man who does the maintenance and the maid who cleans the carpets in the hall, and the guard down in the lobby through a hidden TV camera saw it all. How observed your nervous habits and your random acts and patterns, and I've learned you're not a nice guy, and your fully-faced deception is your secret silent weapon and your modus operandi. This little birdie told me who was talking to a fly upon the wall. So when you think nobody's looking, I'm the eye that passes by you. When you think nobody's listening, I'm the listener. I'm the resistor. Your next door neighbor who dropped by to ask a favor, who pretends to be your brother, or a member of the order who's a secret Sunday soldier from an underground militia. I might even be your butler or your chauffeur who just opened your car door. I'm the butcher, I'm the baker, I'm your future troublemaker. I'm the guy that used to date your little sister. I'm the resistor. Now you can spin your little stories till nobody will believe you anymore, and you can plot your deadly schemes and say it isn't what it means, but let me tell you what it means. This means war. Well, I could be a midnight raider or a cyberspace invader who impersonates a female, or another crazed computer on the information highway who just crashed inside your email. When I was in your part of town, I strolled around and slipped this note under your door. So when you think nobody's looking, I'm the eye that passes by you. When you think nobody's listening, I'm the listener. I'm the resistor. Sign the resistor.
And welcome back to Forbidden History Live, ladies and gentlemen. And no, we're not promoting the Ron Paul re-election campaign. That was whoever made that video with for Carl Klang. In my view, Ron Paul was a Freemason, and we got a picture of him coming out of a limousine, giving the the secret society owl symbol, the black owl, of course, not the white owl. And so, like I said, all the leaders of all those movements are all double agents, and they control all sides. They always have, ladies and gentlemen. But the good news is that we can be set free from them, and we can see and read it for ourselves. So I grabbed the before I get back into the read, starting in chapter 1, verse Kaftor 1, verse 20, in Ganesha, falsely called Genesis. But they've really changed things, haven't they? I mean, wow. Do you want people changing? How would you like to go home, and then all of a sudden you found out somebody changed your car and gave you an old jalopy when you had a nice new car, and they went inside and they changed your everything. They just went in your house and just changed everything. What would you think? Like, would you just accept it and just sit down and have dinner and not even talk about it? Or, okay, yeah, we got paper plates. We used to have the fine china. Now we got paper plates and plastic spoons and forks. And, and we've got, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you'd like to be a little bit beside yourself, right? You wouldn't be feeling very good. But how come we can accept the fact that we've been lied to all of our lives, lied to, fed the greatest bunch of garbage, brainwashed, our potential for an eternal walk destroyed by occultists, and got us on a merry-go-round, quoting scripture that's not even legitimately pure scripture? How can we, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't get uptight about that, but if somebody came and just did a switch out in your home, all those material things you got, oh wow, change all your videos to some rap crap or something, then you'd be so upset, you'd be jumping up and down and wondering who's to blame. But yet what does it take to get somebody riled up about the fact that you're what they put in your mind is not what is real, and what is real is what is yet to be discovered, ladies and gentlemen. And so this book, this is another, and the word gospel is a false word, gospel, but so we'll call it more correctly the Evangelion, and Evangelion means a star message of enlightenment. And so in this star message of enlightenment, which is called correctly the gospel of the perfect life, but that's a dirty word, so they called it the gospel of the Holy 12, but it is the gospel of the perfect light shining. Okay, and in here in chapter Roman numerals, so I think it's 40, 50, 70, 40, 50 of 44. I think it's 44. Okay, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to go to. I'm going to lead in. I'm just going to read a little sample here. Okay, and I'm going to start in verse 4. All truth is in the great Elohim. All truth is in the great Elohim. And this is Yeshua speaking, by the way. Okay, I'm going to start in verse 3. And Yeshua answered them, saying, I'll tell you what, I'll start verse 1. You want to hear some scriptures I heard before? We're just taking a little interlude before we get back to the other one. Because I'm going to show you that it was predicted by Yeshua that the writings would be corrupted, and that then in the end of time, then the writings would be restored, okay? I was astounded when I read this. I read it for the first time just a few years ago, okay? For the first time. And I'm saying, wow, well, that's what we're doing. And he predicted it. So again, Yeshua sat near the sea in the circle of 12 palm trees, and there he often rested. And the 12 and their followers came unto him, and they sat under the shade of the trees. And the pure anointed one plowed and planted seed within them while sitting in their center. And Yeshua said unto them, You have heard what Ashan men in the world say concerning me, but who do you say that I am? And Kepha, not Peter, His name is Kefe. Peter is, of course, the obelisk, right? You know what I mean? That's right. You know what a Peter is. And so that's why they gave him the name. But Kefe means the key, the fiery keys of the virgin woman, right? And we know the whore took it over. So that's why they changed the name Peter. Peter rose up with Kefe rose up with Andrew, his brother, and said, "You are the Moeshiach, the Christ, the Son of the living Yahweh, the Son of the living Yahweh, who descended from the throne of the Son and dwells in the hearts of those who follow and obey unto perfection in the flowing light." And the rest rose up and said, each after his own manner, "These Eshavors are true, and we can follow." And Yeshua answered them, breathing, "Endowed, enlightened, and separated with the mind's eye for seeing in the night are you, my 12, who can follow. For flesh and blood has not revealed it unto you, but the Esha Fare, the Esha fire, the fire of the royal eye of Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, which dwells in you. I indeed am the way, the truth, and the life, and the truth comprehends all things." The initiation of truth, in other words, right? The foundation of truth can then comprehend all things. If you have the anointing of truth, the anointing is truth. That's what the anointing is, truth. It's not a part of any lie. And he continues, all truth is in Yahweh, who is the great Elohim. I and the logo. I bear record unto you of this truth from the tree's root. I am the true rock. And on this, I am the true foundation, would be more correct. And on this foundation, I do build my perfect circle of the called out ones, or church. So you see how they turned Kefe, Peter, into the rock? But right here, he's saying, Yeshua is saying, I am the true rock, which would correctly be, I am the true foundation, because he is the foundation. They are the 12 pillars on top of the foundation. Okay? And on this foundation, I do build my perfect circle of the called out ones, aka church. Church is an occultic term, kirke, and kirke has to do with a circle of occultists. So there's another corruption, okay? And the gates of the grave, that says gates of hell or the gates of Hades here, but it's the grave. It's about the grave, not some fiery inferno. And the gates of the grave will not prevail against it. Why? He says that some of you, on another scripture, some of you standing here will never taste of death, right? Never taste of death. Why? So here's confirmed. And the grave will not prevail over you. So even though it looked like their bodies died, that's just the illusion, because they live forever. They have life in them. So they just go through the event horizon and go to the next place, you know? And the gates of the grave will not prevail against you. And out of this foundation will flow a river of living water to give life to the people of the earth. You are my chosen 12. In me, you, the head and the cornerstone, are the 12 foundations of my house. Build it upon this foundation, and on you, in me, shall my perfect circle of the called out ones be built. And in the truth from the tree's root and the perfection of the flowing light shall my perfect circle of the called out ones be established. And you will sit on 12 thrones and send forth light and truth from the tree's root to all the 12 tribes of Asheri-ul after the Eshafare, and I will be with you even unto the end of the age. I will be with you. Well, gee, they're saying he's not here and he's coming back still. Yet he says, I will be with you even unto the end of the coming age. He also said the same thing when he was taken up after he rose from the dead. Rose from the dead. He came back. What better comeback can there be than rising from death? Right? And he came back. And he says, I'm with you always, even unto the end of the earth. So why are the people saying, we know he's coming back. We know he's coming back one day. I'm sure he's coming back. Wait a minute. I've been talking to him all my life. He's been talking to me all my life. He's right here right now. You think he's not here? You better go do a double check, okay? Because somebody pulled the wool over your eyes. That's what we were just talking about a little while ago, right? You like the fact that they've changed everything in your house, and you don't know where the furniture is anymore? You can't see straight. You're upset about the furniture, but you don't get the idea that your actual theology, for lack of a better word, has been altered on the sacred altar of deception, and they got you worshiping Jesus Christ, which is literally you pig snout Krishna, who is so strict. You see, I don't have to make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just a messenger here, okay? I'm sorry to give you the message that, hurts your little feelings, because if you were founded on absolute truth, it wouldn't hurt your feelings. You wouldn't be offended. You wouldn't go back to your King James and start reading it and put it under your pillow. You throw it out the door. You'd be sick of it, because you can know that you know that you know. And you know what you know, and you won't believe anything then, because belief means to give little credit to something. I believe in Jesus. Oh, I give little credit to Jesus. That's what you just said. Give little credit. Like saying, I think so. I believe in him. I think so. Belief. It's Latin. It's to give little credit to something. So I don't believe anything. I know. I know what I know. I know. Okay? And it's possible for you to know absolutely, with certainty, that he is here right now. He's not coming back. He's here right now. He can communicate with you, and he can reveal all things. There's nothing hidden that cannot be revealed. There's nothing unknown that cannot be known, ladies and gentlemen. It's the great mystery of life. And they pulled the wool over your eyes and made you a sheep. Yeah. Well, maybe we are sheep, but maybe we're supposed to be star rams like Yeshua is a star ram, right? Maybe so. Well, they made him a lamb too, but he was a ram. What did Abraham sacrifice when he took his son off the altar? I think it was a ram that was caught up in the bushes, not a lamb, a ram. Okay, so here's the clincher right here. What's talking about today. But there will rise up after you men of perverse minds, who will through ignorance, or through men of perverse minds. There's not many of those around, are there? Huh. But there will rise up after you, and he's talking 2,000 years ago. But there will rise up after you men of perverse minds, who will through ignorance or through craft. Oh, there's Freemasonry. That's the craft. Suppress many things. That's the Vatican. That's the craft. And they sailed on ships, and they're very crafty, and they're traders. They love trade. Commerce, through ignorance or through craft, suppress many things which I have spoken unto you, suppress many things which I have spoken unto you, and lay upon me things which I have not taught, sowing tares, weeds, that is, among the perfect wheat, which I have given you to sow in the world. Then shall the truth of the great dole of Haim endure the contradiction of sinners. He'll have to endure these contradictions of the blind ones. For thus it has been, this is how it has been, and this is how it will be again. But the time will come again, when the things which they have hidden away will be again revealed and made known again, and the truth will make free those who were bound in this falsehood. And I'm skipping down 3 verses. And the judgment is the time when the spirit of the world, and the judgment, it is determined, it's what it means here, is the time when the spirit of the world will enter into the perfect circle of the called out ones. The spirit of the world. And my doctrine and precepts will be made void through the corruptions of men and of women. judgment belongs to the world when the light is hidden, and judgment to the world when these things will be. Okay? So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, okay? The prediction that what was stolen would be restored. And that's what we're doing right here on Forbidden History Live and the Original Thought Transliteration Project, okay? So what I'm doing here is obviously pretty profound, and it was meant to be, because the lies which prevail will not always prevail. And there's an old axiom that says, the lie will race around the world while the truth is slowly putting on its shoes. Okay? The truth stands alone, stands by itself, and needs no support. Okay? And you can take it or leave it off the table. I don't care, It's on the table. Do with it what you will. It's your business. But I love the truth, and I love to be able to unravel the great mystery, because I'm doing it. Well, my daughter was my big inspiration. She was when she was little. I said, "Geez, I brought her into the world. Now I got to help her to get out." So I'm buying the truth and selling it not, and I'm putting on the light, because this is the way out, ladies and gentlemen. The truth can set us free. Okay, the truth is not a part of any lie. So we're back in Ganesha, Genesis, and when we get done here, we got Ninja Cat 111 going to call in, and so anybody else wants to call in, you can follow along after Ninja as well. That information will be put up again after we do our read here. Okay, so you can take us back to Original Thought, Shelley, and show the original, the most primitive word for Yeshua, which is Yashulanva. So we'll just get a picture of how far back we have to go to Original Thought in the Indo-Germanic mother tongue, which they have stolen from us, okay? Because Yeshua is merely the middle ground between Jesus and Yashulanva, okay? But so we're trying to help you to see the pieces that have been broken. So Yashulanva means the knowledge of the serpent. There's school, but the C is the Scottish Rite sickle, or the moon. The moon they put in front of the S, which is the sun, and created an eclipse and blinded our eyes in their schools. But it's shul, and you see the word shoe. You put on your shoes because everywhere you go you learn, and there's a shoe company called Shoals. See, so there it is, the Zionist company Shoals. So Yashulanva means the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. So Yeshua, who everything he said was to instruct us, to teach us, to enlighten us. It's the fiery serpent that goes round, and it's the knowledge of the fiery serpent, and the fiery serpent is everything. It is all creation, and there's nowhere you can't go that you can't learn. There's nothing that you can't receive as the great mystery unfolds itself. Everything is speaking, but when one cannot read, one cannot go anywhere. You can't read a map, So picking it up, okay, verse 20. And then the great Olafame breathed, "Let the waters be swarming with animal life, and let the birds fly in the expanse of the skies above the earth." And the great Olafame accordingly produced the monsters of the deep, and the Viaters. The waters swarmed with every species of reptile, and also produced every species of flying bird. And the great Olafame admired their beauty, and the great Olafame, in giving with them, I think the word instead of admired was satisfied. That might be the word. And this is where we have to consider, the different possibilities within the pretext. What did I say? Satisfied. I said satisfied, right? Okay. Transliterating right here on the broadcast, making history, being a part of history. And somebody's got to do it, right, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? You going to do it? Okay. Well, you got 40 years of deep study. So we're doing it, okay, because somebody's got to do it. And it's exciting, to have the truth revealed in a sea of corruption, to be able to read, to have. Actually, no, I had to go through approximately 40,000 3x5 cards for the last 20 years taking notes. I should have started 40 years ago, but I started late. I started 20 years ago, writing everything down as notes where I discovered it, and the definitions and the symbols and the quotes and the meanings and all of that, you know. And I got 40,000 3x5 cards, and it's like, how will I ever catalog all this? And, you know, there's not enough time, and I don't know how. You know, to begin, I've started the dictionary. You see that, you know, get a copy. We give out that information already on the program, how you can get the dictionaries. Okay, so go back. But what I realized was at the end of 40,000 3x5 cards was, you know, it's like I didn't need the cards anymore to go back and refer, because what happened in the process, I learned how to read. I now can read. I can see and read it for myself. I know how to speak in a higher Attic tongue, in the most ancient and primitive, what was breathed into Haddam, the Indo-Germanic mother tongue, the original Aramaic, the Archai Malik, okay? So this is what we're sharing with you here. What nobody else seems to want to know, apparently. You know, it's for the few. You know, it's I don't know. You know, I don't know what floats anybody's boat anymore these days. You know, but I know what's most important is what is true, and that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. So continuing, and the great Elohim, in giving them his barokim, the endowment, enlightenment, and separation, breathe unto them, be faithful and multiply, and so as to fill the waters of the deep, and also let the birds multiply upon the earth. And this was the close and the dawn of the fifth age. And then the great Elohim breathed, let the earth produce animals, life according to its species, in quadrupeds and reptiles and wild animals, answering to their species. So, and that it was done. And the great Elohim accordingly made the various species of the animals of the earth, as well as the several species of quadrupeds, and all the different species of reptiles. And the great Elohim admired their beauty. 26. And the great Elohim breathed, let us make a Shan, man, or the word would have been Adam. And I'd have to get the concordance out to find out what the literal is on this, but it says men, but men is a corruption. And so a Shan is the correct terminology, meaning the royal eye that came down. Then he said, let us make the royal eye that come down under our shadow, which is also means after our image, as our representative, and subject to them the fish of the waters and the birds of the sky and the quadrupeds, as well as the whole of the earth, and every reptile that creeps upon it. So the great Elohim created a Shan under his own, the royal eyes that came down under his own shadow, creating them in the shadow of the great Elohim, in the image of the great Elohim, constituting them male and female. So you see, we got one translation image and another one shadow, right? And so there's a lot to look at there. This is where you have to do a study just on one word, and I've got to get the Indo-Germanic dictionary out, including the Strong's Concordance and the Jacinius Lexicon, you know, and go into Webster's, you know, it's, and and then, you know, I've got one that compares 100 different languages. It's a big one, and it takes us back to the primitive of all these words, you know. So it's, we've been lied to, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't just destroy it here. They destroyed our truth a long time ago. They've been abbreviating words from the beginning, and they stole our Indo-Germanic. See, that's the problem. So I'm going to start again on verse 27. And the great Elohim created a Shan under his shadow of the Elohim, that's under the logo, the sun, and constituting them as male and female. The great Elohim then gave them his endowment and enlightenment and separation. And the great Elohim gave them, said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, so as to fill the earth and subdue it, and to rule over all the fish of the sea, the birds of the skies, and over every living animal that moves upon the earth. 29. And the great Elohim also breathed unto them, see, I have given you for food every fruit of and grain bearing plant upon the surface of the entire earth, as well as fruit and seed-bearing trees and all vegetation, so that they may be for food for you and for every animal of the earth and every bird of the skies and for every reptile upon the earth which possesses the life of the animals. And it was done. And the great Elohim gazed upon all that he had made, and it was beautiful. Thus, this is how the close came, and the dawn came, and the sixth great age, ladies and gentlemen. And so there you have it. Okay, the first chapter, and we're going to post it right there, and then we'll pick it up. Let's see here, Tuesday evening. Yahweh willing, we'll be back 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Chapter 2. I'm going to break this into 3 segments, and that'll give us our 3 postings on for our Fenton Bible daily read. Okay, so I know Ninja Cat wants to call in, and so Ninja, come on down. And we could go back to Yeshua now, Shelley, unless you want to choose other graphic. We can do that because we're closing shop on the book of Genesis, which means the generation of the royal eye, the generations of the royal eye. Ganesha, the garden of the royal eye. Garden is generate. What gain in the garden means to the royal eye of production. You know, it's all of these things are in that, ladies and gentlemen. It's so flowing. It's so fluid. You know, it's all these original terms are in the Aramaic. You know, it depends upon how you read them. You know, I mean, you could read them a dozen different ways based on the vowel, based on the pretext, and all of that. You know, there's so much going on. So we're gonna get Ninja Cat on here. I think she's calling, and and Shelley's waiting for the call, and we finally got our Skype worked out here. So if I drop off, it's because Shelley's taking the call from Ninja. Okay, and just glad you tuned in. Hope you're telling your friends about the broadcast. We're making lemonade out of lemons because somebody's got to do it, and that's my job, and I'm very happy to have it. I love
here she
knowledge.
is. Hold on.
All right.
Ninja.
G'day. Hang on. I just got to turn you down.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, stand by. Let me get Dee on the phone.
Okay.
Okay. Desert?
Okay, Ninja, are you there?
G'day. How's it going?
Well, you tell me. Am I going?
You're going pretty good, Desert. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can feel the energy. Yeah.
Right. Well, I can see we lose some people in the process because it's a lot to wrap the mind around, and it's not to fault anybody that's was listening in, but this you remember Bob came on the other night, Bob Gavitt, my good buddy, and from New Jersey, right? And he was, for the first time, he was on our program, and he said, and I asked him, Bob, did you listen to some of the other programs? And he said, well, yeah, I did, but I got so lost on, at one point on one of them, and I just I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And Bob's he's a smart guy. Bob studies the law. He's a genius on the law, but yet I know he's getting old at 88 years old, or how old Bob is. He's up there. Yet the point is that as you know, Ninja, it's a deep well.
I know. It's taken me a year.
Yeah.
Does it?
And so you have to hear it over and over, and then and in different ways. You have to hear it said another way, and then all of a sudden it all begins to fit like a puzzle.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
it's only really starting to open up to me now.
Yeah.
Even though I was seeing it from the start, it's really, really opening up now. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. So
sorry to cut you off.
That's all right. It's a matter of life and death. That's what it's all about. So we're breathing what is most important on the planet, and hopefully our friends that come and go will finally get it, and then start coming back and hanging out with us, because there's nothing else that really matters other than truth.
Nothing else matters at all. Yeah. this world is crumbling around us. All we have is this.
Truth. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
What did it say? What did the scripture say? What's the paraphrase on that one? It's just something like, without being able to quote it now, that the only thing that really exists is truth, right?
Yeah.
Everything else is illusion. I can't. That one escapes me now. That particular scripture. Shelley, if you got it, you can type it.
You just confirmed for me. That's what has kept me going, like my entire life, because I've felt out of place here my entire life, and looking for the truth. My persistence in looking for the truth is what kept me going. Yep. Yeah.
So that's why you're here then, because you had it put in your heart. Yeshua, no doubt, put that in your heart somehow, a little seed, wanting the truth, and you're looking up at the sky and calling control towers to report the observations you were making. Next thing you know, they're coming for you, and you're running down the road, like the Running Man or something, right? Or
the guy's name was Jeff. I've got the little piece of paper in front of me that I found with my first chemtrail pictures. Yeah. Yeah. The good old days. I do have I saw something while you were speaking. It was before you started reading.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at my notes, sorry.
Right.
Words ending in, you were talking about, I think you were talking about the AVG, or it was just after that. You know how the D symbolizes sunset? Am I correct in saying that? Symbolizes sunset?
Right, because the flat line on that D, it's like a half circle. You put the flat line down on the horizon, and it looks like a sunrise or a sunset. It's a half a circle going over the horizon. Yeah.
Which
and it's a
correct
setting.
Me if I'm wrong.
So
yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which is the end of the day, which is like the day is finished. And that's what finished. That's what did it. All I've got written here is words ending in ed. Finished. That was the word. It got me thinking about all the words ending in ed. We put ed on words. I'm trying to explain. I can't think of another word now. On words to express that something has finished, depending on the subject that we're talking about. The words that end in ed, and even the word start. We started something. That's in the past tense. That, like, do you know what I mean? Like, the ed is on the end of a lot of words, and oh, sorry, I'm trying to go through a list of words in my head.
Ed is the prime root of the word remove.
Yeah.
So it's remove.
Yeah.
Education means what they remove from your curriculum. Editor removes from the report. Editor says take that out. You can't put that. So education is what they remove from your brain, what they didn't want you to know.
So they start words with it and they end words with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There
you go.
It's code.
Okay. Well, I just saw it. So.
Right.
So well, that's a good thing, isn't it?
As far as what?
Seeing that.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if you've covered it in previous live streams, but I just noticed it tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, words are opening up to you every day.
Yeah. They are. It's amazing.
Right.
Thanks, guys. I'm looking at the chat. Thank you. See, they know what I'm trying to say.
I had to sleep with a pen and pad by my bed because when I was deep in this, I don't have to do it as much now. I do have a pen and pad near my bed or 3x5 cards, but it was like always having to get up in the middle of the night to because I'm looking at words for the first time, and so like you're doing it now is the way I was doing it, but now I pretty much have them all in me, and I don't have to write it down because I can read now. I now know how to read, so I just have to look at a word. That's about it.
Yeah. See, you should see all my notes, Desert, because I'm thinking of, like, I'm seeing things like all the time, constantly, like while I'm looking after Mum as well through the day. So I have scribbles and notes and things on notepads scattered throughout the house.
Uh-huh.
I have a notebook in every room of the house, pretty much. Yeah. I'm going to need someone to come and organise my 3x5 cards soon.
Well, it's a mental exercise. It's an exercise of thought, and you are working with ideas and ideals that have been altered.
Yeah.
And so you're following the trail back is what you're doing.
Wow.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Remember, in the beginning, it was based on thought. Before anything else existed, there was the thought that was in Yahweh that brought everything forward. And so that's why it says in the beginning, not was, but is the word. In the Greek, is the logo, but incorrectly is the Eshavor, is what? The royal eye. The royal eye is in the beginning, and that's the correct terminology for word. So you're going back to the beginning for perception of original thought, and that's where you're set free, because it will transform your being, and you can no longer be lied to anymore at one point.
Wow.
The
end is the beginning.
Right, the beginning's the end.
I was going to say that, but I thought I'd let you.
It's what they didn't want us to know.
Yes, it is.
That
we tell right here, Desert, right here. So absolutely amazing. I'm not sleepy anymore. I've had way too much coffee, but I don't like missing any of the live streams, because watching it back afterwards is just as amazing, but being like interactive, being in the chat live creates, like, Yeshua is here with us. Like I could feel him here with us when you were reading. It's just an amazing feeling. It's just amazing. I wanted to give an update on what's happening in this part of the country, but I don't want to go into the negative right now, because it's just okay. Now I'm out of words.
Right. Well,
I'm just loving it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about people who think that Yeshua is coming back?
I think that they are under the illusion, an illusion. They like, so many people contradict themselves, and they can't see what they can't see it.
They're regurgitating what they've been told, right? That's all.
Yeah, in the same pretty much in the same sentence, they will say that he's here with us, he's in all things, and then also at the same time say that he's coming. They're waiting for him to come back. He's coming back. Like, comes to mind.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Comes to mind. Like, I'm still learning all the stories of the scriptures. I'm very unfamiliar with the Bible that we have been spoon-fed. I'm more familiar with the truth, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
But what comes to mind is I can't quote anything. What comes to mind is the scripture saying that he will come like a thief in the night.
Mhm.
And he's not going to come like a thief in the night. I experienced the true version of that statement last year.
Okay. Well, let me clarify that one, because see, the thief in the night, the reason he comes, see, what I gather from when they're talking about him coming back in the second coming, when they fail to recognize he came back, rose from the dead, and that was his coming back, and that was his victory, and he conquered the flesh. You see, the reason he nails the flesh on a tree is because he's saying the flesh can't go. The flesh has to die so the spirit can live. And so in the and so what? Therefore, they must be thinking, when they're repeating the lie that they know he's coming, is they bought into the Zionist propaganda of the pseudo Israel, that which is brought to us through the banking, the media, and the Vatican, all together rolled in one, in the secret societies, is that they're under the delusion that somehow he's going to come back in the flesh again, and then he's going to sit on some throne in Jerusalem, which is the biggest bunch of nonsense that ever was invented, because he rules from the throne of the Son, and there's no temple that anyone could make for him. That was only to tell us a story back in ancient time, as to where we are in this narrative today. And so the second coming is, or that aspect of when he comes as a thief in the night, is when he comes as a spirit, because since he is
which
always
is what
here,
happened to me last year. Yes, he let me know that he was real, and he'd been with me always. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
But the coming of the thief of the night is when the promise finally comes, which is the gift of the Holy Spirit, which is the great breath of the wind and fire, when one receives after they're ready, after they've perfected their walk before him, and put on, and conquered the self. We have to conquer the self. At that point, when we're walking on water, in the metaphor, as he gave us the example, then we can receive the great breath of the wind and fire. So there is an experience to be obtained, but it's at the point when we have mastered our walk. So he gives us this opportunity in a wilderness to come to the truth, because we've been filled with lies, and the truth is not a part of any lie. Then at the point when we're ready to rise from this death, because we're in the grave, we're buried with him in the grave, until the moment he says, Lazarus, come forth. Le'ulazar, a royal eye, a ray of light, come forth. Because you put on the light, you become a ray of light. At that point, you are fulfilled. So you see that there's an operation that is going on here that is not being taught within the within the pulpits, because they give you instant salvation, and there's nothing you have to do. You don't even have to change your worthless hide. Nothing. Just be stupid and just nod your head, and you're okay. That's it. And give us your money. Don't forget to give us your money, though. Yeah.
Exactly. And while you were speaking, I could also see two different interpretations that are being said at once of the lie, that he's coming back from the sky. There's that one, that he's coming back from the sky on a big chariot, and the other one that we were just talking about, how you need to, like, I can't quote the scripture, but how you need to be aware, because he will come like a thief in the night, and you don't want to miss out. Like, people just can't see that it's all so contradicting, and And how is there two different stories? It doesn't make sense. What you're explaining here, the original thought, it's the truth, and it's, I don't know, I can feel it in my heart, and yeah, I just wanted you and
Yeah.
everyone to know that this is real.
Well,
This is the truth.
yeah, well, I can spell it out, and I can
Yeah.
explain it in finite
Exactly.
detail, and that's the evidence also of the fact that it is an exact science. It's based on symbol and knowing
Yeah.
the root forms, and then knowing the tricks
Yeah.
and the trades and the traps that they laid
Yeah.
for us. So well, we covered the ground. It's been a 40-year process of analysis and of discovery. And it took me all this time to really, starting last year, June 21st is when after they've destroyed two prior to YouTube channels that I had, then finally the third time is, as they say, is the charm, and I was able to do a presentation until I crashed again in the fall, and then you ladies, you and Shelley picked me up and started producing for me, because I just couldn't go anywhere to get my computers repaired or anything, because they all are Freemasons around here, and they're mother sons of darkness, when they claim to be of the light, and they claim
Yeah.
brotherhood and fraternity and all these wonderful things, while they want to destroy every life they could ever touch,
Yeah.
including children.
Yeah.
Including children. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will give an update on what's going on
Wait a
down.
minute. You mean a down date? Is that what you got?
An update down under, desert.
An update down under. Okay. That's good.
Um,
She's on the bottom
Okay.
of the world, ladies and gentlemen. She's opposite. Our feet are touching each other. She's looking that one way, and I'm looking the other way.
oh, God.
Rather interesting when you think about it. All right.
Yeah. So when I'm looking up, no, that's not going to work. Don't worry. Forget it.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Just make sure the check's in the mail. I get paid for entertainment, so.
Can we go one live call without me getting the giggles? I don't think so.
Probably not. All right.
I don't think so.
Breathe deep. All right.
Is it-
Yeah.
just don't.
You want me to get off the phone so you can talk? I can do that.
No, just.
Don't talk, don't say anything. All right, I won't say anything. All right.
Thank you. Just breathe.
All right.
Okay.
All
All right. We're good. You can speak again now.
Your turn.
Just don't say g'day or no worries, and I'll be right.
All right.
Okay. Okay. All right. We're good.
All right.
Okay. Update down under.
Mhm.
As some of you already know, we had a 7. I think it was a 7.4, 7.0. It's been downgraded to a 6.5 or 4 or something. I don't know, but it was a 7. We'll say 7 because it's different everywhere.
Wait a minute. You had a big earthquake down there? You've had a big
earthquake that hit the other side of the country, Western Australia. It was felt from Broome all the way down to Perth.
Wow.
So the entire western coast, of the country, it shook it. And then that was early this morning. For those who don't know, it's the middle of the night here. Or actually, it's 4:22 a.m. But anyway, wow. That was almost 24 hours ago. And then this afternoon sometime, where was it? I don't know. It was just above in all the islands, Indonesia. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, all those islands above Australia. There was a 6 point something or other. Yeah. So, yeah. It just makes sense to me. Like, I know they're all created. I know they're man-made. But it just makes sense to me with California having all the quakes, and then suddenly it's happening on the other side of the planet. That just makes sense to me. I'm not surprised at all. I'm just very grateful that I'm living on the other side of the country. But in saying that, my clouds have been electric blue for the last week. I think I've mentioned this before. A subscriber of mine, John, he lives a couple of hours south of me, and everything he sees in the sky matches what I'm seeing. Every weather event matches, like, we're paralleling, because he's in Melbourne, I'm in Canberra. Yeah, so, and tonight, at sunset, I put a video up on my channel about purple clouds regarding Hurricane Barry. I've seen this before in my sky last year. But yeah, we've been getting the blue, and at night they've been kind of glowing blue. And John has also mentioned that. Mm-hmm. Tonight I walked out the front at sunset, and my clouds were purple, and they were also purple in Melbourne. Yeah, so that's just, it's really cool to finally have somebody nearby to compare notes with. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, he seems
Absolutely.
like a nice guy. And
right, and by the way, comparing notes, there's two new videos by The Higher Truth Rises, and the one that just popped in a minute ago says The Higher Truth Rises, uploaded, Revelations, Earthquakes, playing out, and with a question mark. So he's putting the pieces together. He's one of the best at this. So check out The Higher Truth Rises, 4 words, ladies and gentlemen. The Higher Truth Rises, and he may be talking about what you're talking about as well, Ninja.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. See, that's what this is my opinion. That's what I think they're doing. They rewrote all the scriptures so they could have a story to play out in the end times. That's what's happening.
Well, yeah, that's what they're doing. In other words, you see that the word Antichrist didn't exist in the scriptures. It was false Moeshiachs or false messiahs. And Yalganun, John, who wrote first, second, and third, Yalganun John, he said right in his writings, he says, for even now there are many false Moeshiachs, many false messiahs, and that was 2,000 years ago. So what they had to do was change the term of false messiah into antichrist, you see. And so therefore then they could create their boogeyman who's going to take the throne and everybody's going to bow down and worship him. It's all a false narrative. All has nothing to do with the scriptures, but they build it out of the scriptures by changing the narrative. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, while we're on the dismal side of things, as you know, Desert, I was crying watching, catching up on Dane Wigington's latest video. Yeah. Guys, please go watch it. It's real, and it's more reason to come here listen to Desert and get right with Yeshua and see and read it for yourself. Near the start, wasn't even halfway through. Near the start, this wasn't on mainstream. Maybe it was locally, but I didn't see it on any news here. In Adelaide, I think it was 50 birds fell from the sky. A type of parrot, an Australian native, beautiful white bird, fell from the sky with blood coming from their mouths and from their ears.
And their
they
eyes.
fell into
and their eyes.
And their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They fell to the ground at a children's school in front of a heap of children. So it was quite distressing. That's why I was so upset, because I looked it up after I heard Dane mention it, and because I wanted to know where it was. And so I Googled it, and it was in Adelaide, and I immediately saw the connection. The claim was that they were poisoned, and there's a lot of stuff going on with that. People are getting, organizations are getting blamed, and they're creating a story out of that, culling birds and all that sort of thing. And anyway, that's distractions. What I saw, when winter first started here, the cold weather was coming from the wrong direction. It was coming from directly south of me, or it was coming from southeast of me. That is the complete opposite. And then it would stop right up and down the east coast. It would just stop and then turn around and go northeast, which is just really, really weird. Now it's not doing that. It's gone back to where it is supposed to be coming from, which was from below the bottom centre of the country. It comes up and turns to the east and comes straight for me where I am. That's been that weather pattern for quite a few years now. They're the Arctic blasts that we get, and Adelaide is right in the path of that. And the weather is being controlled by frequencies. The world is being controlled by frequencies.
You're just a conspiracy nut ninja. Get out of here.
I know. Huh? And so the frequencies are very extreme with this cold weather at the moment, and we've had blizzards and gale force winds, and I think the lowest temperature here just south of me was recorded today. Thredbo, the wind chill got to minus 24 degrees Celsius. I walked outside my back door today in the middle of the day, and I walked into a freezer. It's the coldest I've ever felt during the daytime.
Really?
It's amazing. It really is. And Mum walks around turning the heaters off. Don't get me started. And then complains that it's cold. Yeah.
And so do you think this cold is a natural imbalance of the nature, because they sure don't need to do a cooling down process in the wintertime, right? So do you think it's just the evidence of an imbalanced world now, that it's going to two extremes, extreme hot, then extreme cold? Do you think that's what that is?
I think it's all under complete control. I think, the planet is messed up. It's completely out of whack. But the manipulation that I've been seeing in the sky matches weather control. I can see the frequencies in the clouds, and the wind feels forced, and it's all manipulated. All of it's manipulated, and I think this is what killed the birds. I think the frequencies are too extreme. The cold is too extreme. They've messed with our world. They've ruined it, and everything is like everything's failing.
The bees
they can't fight it anymore. Yeah.
I just saw the report on the bees. Was that on Dane? Wasn't that on Dane? The bees.
Yeah, he mentioned it. He mentioned it. Them in California as a reaction to the earthquakes. Yeah. It's all reactions to the frequencies. They can't take it, or poison in the ocean, or suffocating due to lack of oxygen. The aluminium that we're all of us are breathing in. The tiny little nano whatever that they're putting in the air. They've completely saturated this world with frequency manipulated technology. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's what their technology is based on. It's completely controlled. We're at the end, which is very, very sad and terrifying, but it's also, I'm finding it a big relief, because I thought I was going to see the end of the world and I wasn't going to get saved. But now I'm determined that I'm not going to go through this again. I'm not doing this again.
Okay. Once on the roller coaster is enough, right?
Yes.
Right. So we're pulling it together, and we're making lemonade out of the lemons they gave us, and we're breathing truth, and it's a beautiful thing to know the truth, and we're plowing the field. So you're producing on the two channels, Ninja Cat 111, and on the Cosmic Essence. We got the first letter of the alphabet up there, so I hope people check it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And you're serving the Father above. Yeah. You're what?
Oh, I'm sorry, I rambled on a bit there, but yeah.
That's all right. So
very passionate at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'm pretty well spent out for the rest of the broadcast. We got the opener for
Desert, I exhausted you.
No, you didn't exhaust me. I was already I was read out. What I'm saying is I was read out. No, you were just providing the break here at the end before we say goodbye to everyone, and we're going to be back. We're going to do Tuesday with you because I've got to get to the food bank on Monday. So on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, we'll be on with you on Ninja Cat 111, and then and people can check out the Cosmic Essence anytime, because that's just that's not a live program. That's going to be posting of all the different topics we talk about. They'll be isolated onto one video so that people can do a search, word search, and find what it is they're looking for through all the different things we talk about. So that'll be a way that they can do that. So we welcome everybody's participation and hope they'll call in on the programs, that they won't be a stranger. We're here to answer anybody's questions. It's a caller-generated program. That's what we want to have. We want to help people to unravel the mystery for them, and we can go back. We can reverse, rewind, and talk about anything that we've already talked about again, because we got too many hours of that they won't be able to go back and read. So just hit us up with questions. What about this? What about that? And we're here to answer them. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're not trying. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
They don't call in. We're gonna have to shoot them.
I do.
All right, you call in. That's right. I'm
persistent. I'm trying to lead by example. Have been since I started calling in.
Right. Well.
Yeah.
We might want to call it a higher calling, right?
Okay.
Sounds better than calling you our high-paid call girl. So I don't want to. that doesn't work. So we're not going to do that. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, good one. Yeah. All right. Yeah, my
But
voice
she's
is
the
gone.
only call girl we got, and we love her, so we're glad we got her. And she's really I don't know where we'd be without you, Ninja. You've done so much. You caught me when I had no program, nowhere to talk, and nobody wanted to interview me, and you went to bat trying to figure out YouTube and doing it. Started on your phone, I think, before you even had a laptop or something, and just like we kept had how many failures, but I knew that okay, well, the next one's going to work, and then we finally got it kick started, and here we are. So I'm just I'd rather be with regular people than with all these fancy, radio jocks or whatever, networks. I wouldn't last very long on mainstream anyway, as you know, with the way I talk. So therefore, we really can only do it on a grassroots level, and so it's not meant for everybody. Therefore, I think we probably we got our 6-pack again right there. Look at that and see. So we're just about right where we belong, with half a dozen people that actually care to listen, because it's never going to be popular. To mention when people will not be able to wrap their mind around the real meaning of the word Jesus or Yeshua. Yeshua meaning may his name be blotted out forever. We already defined Jesus. It's just that they probably can't accept the fact that these things are true.
And that's a simple, obvious place to start. I mean, yeah, you're right. They probably can't accept. Yeah, please continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's just how do you wake up to the fact that you've been lied to all your life, and when it's easier just to accept that you're going to live forever, you're already saved, and nothing more you have to do, and you can still go on with your doing the things that are contrary. It's like what the religion of the world has given them, whereas there's a consequence for every action, and as it says that the wages of sin, but it was originally the wages of blindness. That's sin is an abstract term. The original word was blindness. So the wages of blindness is death. Okay, and so now as religion, the world religion is teaching that you can still go on now and do the things that are contrary to the scripture, like this, that, or the other thing, but now you're saved, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And so now it's a cause without an effect. So now if you went ahead and robbed somebody or beat somebody up or did things that are harmful to another or to yourself, then now you can do it, and it's no longer a cause with an effect. But yet it still says in our scriptures that the wages of blindness is death, which of course is the original word for sin. So the wages of sin, the wages of blindness is death. And so whether you are claiming religion or not, it's a state of death until you have put away the thing that brings death. You see, it is still a cause with an effect. It's like, that's the thing, that's the false teaching, that you're somehow going to get away with now doing things that are, in other words, I have more, respect for a good sinner than somebody who's got religion and they're going to go do the same things that a sinner does and think they got religion. They got their little, as they did with the Catholic Church. I got my indulgence, Pastor. I got my indulgence. I can do anything I want now. I got my indulgence right here. It's good. I paid good money for it. Okay. Yeah. The money was an illusion too,
You reminded me of something that I researched, with Bohemian Grove. The first ritual they do there, I think it's called the care ceremony or the care ritual,
okay.
Where they put aside care, so they don't have to worry about attaching empathy or emotions to the sick, twisted things that they do. That's what you reminded me of that when you were talking about how people go and do what they want and then think that they're going to be saved. It sounds very similar. Like they put aside all the care, all the empathy, all of that, so that they can do horrible things and think that they're going to get away with it and still be saved. Yeah. You just reminded me of that. Yeah. And that's,
well,
yeah.
I don't know, like the Bush family, how they can live with themselves killing 3,000 people, but they bought into an occult ritual, and therefore they've sold their soul. They've had to sear their conscience, as it says in the scriptures, like with a hot iron, and so they're on a power trip, and the power trip is a drug, and so they realize it's their world. It's still bizarre because you would think that somewhere along the way, but I guess they know that if they come out, they're dead. That was part of the original. That was the first blood oath that was taken by Mount Horeb by the Watchers, the Vakeresh. They said, okay, anyone who betrays this oath, you're dead. So it's sworn. It's not only just a blood oath to commit wrong, but it's also a pact that says you break your pact, we're killing you. So they all know they're dead. They can't. That's how they sealed the deal. You see, it's because you would be committing suicide if you came out. Yeah. That's where it comes from. You see, that's why it's a commitment of absolute. It's an absolute commitment that has no turning back. No turning back. And we'll have to get into the Book of Enoch one day, real soon as well. I'm not sure. I was thinking with Fenton, I wanted to read either the Colburn, but maybe I should start reading as a part 2 with Fenton, just because they're small chapters with Enoch, and I think I'll interpret the symbolism in there. That might be what I need to do. It's been a long time since I read Enoch. I've got all my notes in there, and so maybe I'm going to do. It'll be a 2-part on the for our Fenton Bible daily read, and I'm going to do a part 2, which is short chapters, and that's Enoch, and then I can interpret those symbolisms. So I'll see if I can muster that up and do that. I'll be doing 2 a days then, but I got to do my own reading, and I figure I might as well do it on the broadcast. So that's what's coming up, Ninja. And so I want to thank you for all your dedication and your commitment as well, and your overcoming great oppression through the system that and family that's not helping you out. So it's a tough deal you're going through. Hopefully people will get the documents and support the broadcast. You get half of whatever we bring in to on your channel for the PDFs that we have of our dictionaries and everything. So hopefully people will consider supporting this work that we're doing. It's it's worthy of support. And okay, so very good. Are we good?
We're good. We're good. Thank you, Desert.
All right, Ninja. You sound a lot better over the Skype than you do over the phone. It's I hung it up with my nose one day.
You get to hear the true Ninja. Yeah.
Yeah. Stereo. All right, Ninja. Then we'll see you on the chat. And and okay, and thanks. We'll look for you Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on NinjaCat 111. All right, so we'll let you go, and we're going to wrap this up as well, okay? And we're going to have to get back on the other line now, so thank you.
Okay, all right.
Peace and love.
I just want to say I love you guys in the chat, and love you, Desert, always.
You too. Right, Ninja.
Okay, see ya.
Bye. Okay. And Shelley, are we back?
We're back.
All right, thank you. Okay, well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think unless somebody else wanted to call in real quick, then we're going to just call it a day. And grateful for your stopping by. Hope you're telling your friends about the broadcast. We're hoping to make lemons out of lemonade, and that's what we do right here on Forbidden History Live. So don't forget, I'm Desert Al telling you, if you want to know the future, then you need to look for the Forbidden History, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on the RealPublicRadio.net and on Forbidden History Live, YouTube.com, Forbidden History Live and Ninja Cat 111. Also now the Cosmic Essence, and coming up next for our Fenton Bible daily read. Okay, so that's a tongue twister, but we'll get it out, and somebody's got to do it, right? And so that's what I'm here for. And so do tell your friends, won't you? It's what they didn't want you to know, of course, that we tell right here. Forbidden History Live. We'll see you. Thank you for tuning in.
Starry, starry, starry night. Paint your palette blue and gray. Starry, starry night. Paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills. Sketch the trees and the daffodils. Catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night. Flaming flowers that brightly blaze. Swirling clouds in violet haze. Reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue. Morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain, are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left in sight on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night. Portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never